Hey everyone! This is a trading review covering the dates between June 29 and July 12, so weeks 27 and 28 of 2026. During the period across Binance and Bybit, the total P&L was plus 198.9 USDT with an average order size of 228 USDT. There were a total of 597 trades with 431 profits and 166 losses for a win-lose ratio of 2.6. Let's see what's been running on each exchange to arrive at this result. On Binance, for the first week of the period, the setup was exactly the same as before and with the same low order size. However, the results were getting weaker and weaker, with ROE diminishing week to week from 33 to 25 to 14% in week 27, where actually the most was made by just two leverage 10 active markets algos as described in the previous video, while the main setup squeezed out just 1% out of 114 trades. The problem was lowered win-lose ratio as well as a major increase in average stop-loss size. It approached minus 2% as there were 8 trades squeezed to over minus 100% of margin. Way too many for 1 week. So, on the 8th, I did an overhaul. I looked at all available data for the strategy in an attempt to come up with a filter that would improve any or all of these key indicators, and then intended to substantially raise the order size. Several months' worth of data indicated that overall results are strikingly better when the coin is pretty low in its 3-minute absolute delta range. Compare the results up to 2% with anything above that. And the pattern is the same for test algos as well. The downside, of course, is that you're gonna miss at least a third of all potential trades. I've also added hourly delta filters for good measure and then increased the order size to 2,000 USDT. In a few days after the overhaul, the number of trades, as expected, has fallen way down, but the efficiency went up. The break-even requirement fell below 2, while the actual win-lose ratio stayed above 3. The updated algos made over 120 USDT, bringing the total result for the period to 136.5. Let's move to Bybit. Having focused more attention on tuning up Binance, Bybit has been mostly left to its own devices. The only thing I did was raise the order size to 1,000 USDT on those algos that were in the green overall, while leaving the rest low. This allowed it to maintain the same level of P&L as in the previous period, at just above 60 USDT. But noticeable was the overall reduction in the number of trades. Remember, here no additional filters had been introduced, so what's the deal? I went to investigate. When starting out with the strategy on Bybit, I selected about 400 coins that had the right leverage, the right tick size, and the right daily volume. My algos were set up to trade only at daily volumes above 1 million USDT. Well, a few months in, and 250 of those 400 coins no longer reach 1 million in volume per day. That is 60% of the original set completely ignored. No wonder the number of trades is getting so low. I've looked up the overall Bybit futures trading volume over the past few months. There's not an obvious dramatic drop, but lately it's been definitely below the local peak reached in the first week of June. The liquidity must have moved to other assets or just spread out more thinly, as there has been an enormous amount of listings recently. Out of curiosity, I looked up the volumes over the past 2 years. And yeah, over this time frame, the drop is very well pronounced. In fact, out of 627 coins currently on Bybit futures, only a bit over 200 have a daily volume over 1 million. Like, how can you sensibly trade here on Cross, for example, one of the past Good Boy Award winners no less, when a 1K volume produces a 2.7% shot while the order book is essentially empty? I'd have to rethink the approach more dramatically than on Binance. What can you do when over 400 coins are essentially useless for higher order sizes? Let's do one award today. The worst coin unanimously goes to Magma. It sucks for shots. Any exchange, any distance, any time frame is just a complete disaster. Sure, I'll give you 5 or 6 profits in a row at 1.9, but I will also destroy you. Good thing I blacklisted it early from live, as further testing says there is no redemption in sight. At all. This concludes today's review. Thanks for watching.